Hello, hello. This is Dr. Hines. Today, I want to take a different direction. Um, I want to talk about my father. Just a couple of days ago, um, it was the anniversary of my father's death. He passed away on February 4th, 2017. And we had a very interesting relationship, as all fathers and sons go through. But when he started to get sick to the point that it was evident that the transition was about to take place, I had a lot of time to talk with him. I had a lot of time to have some in depth conversations about things I was just completely confused or murky about. And I know some people who are in earshot of this did not have a good relationship with their father at all. And so, if a chance is given that the father is bedridden, is they're in their right mind, but they're transitioning, some people would, you know, take no hesitation to ask the hard questions. Why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? And there was a part of me that wanted to do that, to ask my dad some really hard questions about some of the things that happened when I grew up, some of the things that I was a witness to, um, when I grew up. But as I began to see my father transition, there was a peace that came over me that I knew that he was going to a much better place, and that at some point his pain would be no more. So instead of asking a question that I probably am not going to like the answer if he's 100% truthful, I just refrained from asking it because I felt what's done is done, what's happened has happened. What I saw, I saw. What I witnessed, I witnessed. You can discuss history, but you can't change it. So I talked about things that would make him feel comfortable to talk about. The last thing I wanted to do is upset a man on his deathbed. But I love my father. He was the best representation of a man that I knew. Yes, we had a very interesting relationship and things weren't always right, but he was always there for me. He scolded me, he punished me, he corrected me, but if anything happened to me, he was the first line of defense. And he was the type that did not lose. And I can tell you, I am not a perfect person, and I've done some very wrong things in my life. But I'm sitting here right now, looking at this camera, talking to you because of the sacrifices my father made to not let my wrongs take me down. So, have I done things in my life I'm not happy about? Yes. Have I done things in my life from birth till now that were illegal and probably should have ended me up in jail? Yes. I have no problem saying that. But he stood up for me, used every bit of his connections, and kept me out of harm's way, even though I didn't deserve it. One of the greatest things I will ever say about my father is that he loved me even though he knew I was wrong. And so I think that's the greatest thing that a father can do or a mother can do for their child is when you know that your child is in the wrong, but you still go to bat for them anyway. That's I guess that's what being a parent is all about. I don't have any kids. Um, I just chose not to have any. But I am so glad that in my line of work, what I do every day, all day, is that I try to benefit and have a positive effect on kids. That is my life's calling. But there are three things that I just want to share with you in this brief time that I learned from my father that I would like to express to you. This is just stuff my dad taught me. You can take it or leave it. One of the things he used to always say is it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. He used to say it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I didn't really understood what it meant till I got 16, 17, 18 years old. He would always tell me if it looked like it was gonna rain, we would watch the weather report in the morning before school. I mean, in elementary school, I had to wear a raincoat. I'm talking the yellow, thick raincoat. This is before North Face. This is before Nike made those coats. Reebok made those coats. Timberland made those coats. This was the yellow with the clasp, and I hated wearing it. But whenever we got out of school, it would be pouring down rain and kids would be running to the bus. I was walking fine. As I got older, I learned to do preventative maintenance when it came to my cars. Don't wait till something breaks and then take it in to the mechanic. Take your car into the mechanic on a frequent basis. Get the tune-ups, get the oil change, get the antifreeze flush. Get your belts checked, because it's better to do that up front and they fix it than to be driving somewhere and all of a sudden you didn't check your battery and your battery goes out. Always have cash available, a decent amount of cash, because you never know when something's going to happen. You may have to use it for yourself. You may have to give it to somebody that you care about in need. Always have that money on standby. You never know. That's one of the things. Another thing my dad used to say is the world gets praise for their effort, but credit goes to results. And what it taught me is there's a difference between saying you're going to do something, talking about you doing something, and actually doing it. My dad was a huge sports fan. They're called the Washington Commanders, but growing up, it was the Washington Redskins. And he would always say, everybody is for their team the first 2-3 weeks of the season. But by week 5, we already can tell who's going to the playoffs and who's not. And just know at the end of the season, only one team can win the Super Bowl. Now, in life, there are instances where multiple people and multiple entities can win. But you only get the credit when you reach the goal. He said it to me all the time. And then when I got to be a senior in high school, I knew what it meant. You can try all you want, but the credit only comes when you earn the diploma that has your name on it. The credit only comes when you get the college degree, bachelor's, master's, postmaster's, doctorate. Because everybody claps when you start something. But who's there with you through the process? And who's there in the end? Sometimes people want to be there at the beginning and then want to be there at the end, but they're nowhere to be found in the meantime, in between time. So if you really, really, really want the credit, if you really want to have something, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a pet, you have to put forth the effort to get the credit of having something, obtaining something, doing something. No one learns how to play great piano without practicing. No one builds up a good savings without having discipline. No one gets in shape without daily work in the gym. And so that these are things that just you just have to do it. And the last thing my dad taught me, and it has stuck with me all my life, is who says you can't? Who says you can't? It's kind of been, morphed. And now I hear a lot of people say, why not you? Which kind of means the same thing. Who says you can't? Well, Dad, I can't do this. Who told you you couldn't do something? I'm not going to be able to fix that. Who told you you couldn't fix something? Do you understand when cars were first built and people had to fix them, the first people fixed them did not have an instruction manual? They had to figure it out. When the first computer was built, somebody had to figure it out. When furniture was built back in the day, now you can buy something off Amazon and they have an instruction manual. You screw this in and put that on and you have a couch, you have a sectional. But back in the day, they had to be built. And a lot of it was built by hand and with wood, and there was no instructions. It was just the gift of the person who made the furniture, and it looked beautiful. Who says you can't get a degree in your 50s? Who says you can't learn to play piano decently in a year? Who says you can't run a 10K race from start to finish and not quit? Who says you can't transform your body in 6 months, going to the gym, eating the right foods? Who says you can't? The only person that can tell you that you can't do something is you. And sometimes you'll realize when you want to do something, the people closest to you will be the ones trying to tell you you can't do it. There's no way you can do that. There's no way. Who do you think you are? You can't do that. You're kicking out of your league. You're kicking out of your range. It's not going to stop me from getting down there and kicking that ball. Who says I can't? What if I prove you wrong? So those are the 3 things my father taught me. I'm giving it to you. I love my father. I miss my father. I will never get over the grief of him passing away, but he lives inside of me every day. I hear his voice. When I sleep, I hear him talking to me. I don't know what you believe or how you believe it, but for me, my dad lives within me. And because I live, he's living within me. This is Dr. Hines. Until next time.